We're now live streaming on locals on the Chinese spyware app. What's it called? TikTok. So good morning, everybody on TikTok. If you want to come join the live stream, come join us at youtube.com/BJD online. And if we don't see you in the live chat, you have an awesome and positive and loving Merry Christmas. Just recording that to send that out to some people on, well, you hear my voice, on TikTok, because there's a lot of people who still love using this app. I'm starting to see why it's addictive for so many people and why they get so much out of it. Me personally, I don't know. I'm still not sold on it, and I still anticipate that TikTok at some point is going to be banned. And I think the person that's going to lead the banning of it, and citing security concerns, is likely to be Facebook. As Facebook, I'm sure, like all corporations, doesn't like too much competition. And given the security risks and the psychological effects of TikTok, I wouldn't be surprised if TikTok ends up being on the chopping block sometime within 2023. But let's talk about all the amazing and good stuff. Well, I mean, that is good stuff. You'll notice the hearts behind me. Those hearts and the little note attached to one of them that's hanging above Christine's sticker in memory of her son. Those are from Beth, who is also the first person in Locals, again, to wish good morning to everybody. All of you on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Locals, obviously, and all the other platforms. And Merry Christmas to all of you. And I'll be doing that again tomorrow, I think, if I'm going to do a Christmas stream. I hope you're all having already an amazing day. You're probably, have all the dopamine releasing, getting ready for your Christmas dinner or Christmas dinner. I know. What are you going to do tonight? Every family does it differently. On my brother's, one of my brother's family, my biological brother who celebrates Christmas, they usually do a dinner on tomorrow night, but they can't this year for a number of reasons. But normally they do it on the 25th. Some of their friends do it on the 24th. And whatever you do, I hope it's an amazing time for you, and I hope all you get out of it is the positivity aspect, the love aspect, the hope for the future. And look how far we've come. Remember previous Christmases before the truckers, hashtag nothing to do with truckers. It was all about, well, you can only have so many people over for Christmas, and you all have to bag up and wear body condoms and all that sort of stuff. And here we are now, all wishing each other good morning and looking forward to having an amazing Christmas with your family. So Betty White Resurrected is the first person on YouTube. Good morning. Jesse, Megan, Keith, Sonia. Wow, everybody's here. Tao. I guess because nobody's at work today. And you guys are awesome. David. Let the reason for the season be spread some light on others. Merry Christmas, everyone. 100%. And there's definitely a lot of crossover, but between the reasons and the underlying foundation of the trucker convoy and Christmas. Very, very similar in terms of peace and love and coming together. It's almost like we had Christmas in February this year. Karen, good Merry Christmas to all. Everybody, look at everybody's full of love today. We gamble and eat potato salad and sausage. All right. Enjoy a free Christmas. Exactly. This is, I think, hopefully the beginning of an era of Freedom Christmases, and this will be hopefully the very first, and we're going to all celebrate more of them together. And let me know. We'll do one of these streams after Christmas, and you'll tell me all the good things that happened during your Christmas. I've said the word Christmas so many times today, already, haven't I? I think also what we can do is, look at. One other quick thing. I did an interview with Rupa Subramania from who is a freelance journalist. She was the one legacy media journalist who came to our press conferences in Ottawa. I knew from some friends in legacy media that she's an honest actor and she's trustworthy and she will tell the truth. And she happens to live in Ottawa. And we were discussing this on her podcast. I said to her, listen, Rupa, you live down the street from Parliament Hill, basically. Did you hear any honking? And her answer was very, very interesting. Definitely counter to what the government wants us to believe. But anyways, that's going to come up, I think, this coming week. So take a look when the link is available. I will definitely share it with all of you. Amanda, good morning to you. And Yana. I keep saying Jana. Yana, thank you so much for joining and coming on Locals. You guys are awesome. And don't forget, on Locals is the platform you can actually post some memes. So if you have some funny stuff you want to share with me, let me know and I'll put it on all the other feeds. Love Chinese where you're having it on New Year's Eve. Yes, Karen, happy Chinese Food Day. That used to be the case for me until I found out I had a whole other family that celebrate Christmas, so that tended to change things. Good morning, Alyssa. I haven't seen you for a while, but Merry Christmas Eve, to be more accurate, 100%. I posted a clip in a video clip, and it's time-stamped in my Twitter feed, not the one about the communists. That's a little bit negative. But this guy, Mike Black, who was a very wealthy guy and did this social experiment, wanted to become homeless and see if he could rebuild his life and kind of show what people go through. And, in the middle of his experiment, this is very touching. He discovered, or his father called him to let him know that his father, had stage 4 colon cancer. And so clearly the guy who was the topic of this documentary, whatever you want to call it, was quite negatively impacted by that. And he was quite distraught. But what's interesting was his father. His father, the one who, got this severe diagnosis, where at the time of the video, the chances of living, he had something about like a 14% chance of survival, because I think it was stage 4. And that's when, his son kind of broke down. And what did the father say to his son? You know what he said to him? He said, "It's okay. I'm the luckiest guy alive. I'm a fighter. This is okay. This is going to work out great." And so here you see his son breaking down, and his father, who's gotten this devastating news, he's consoling his son, telling him not to worry. And why would he be doing that? Like, first thing is, what I try to, promulgate with people and share with people is kind of obviously the space of positivity and overcoming adversity, and we can all do that, right? But look at it from his perspective. He's looking at it from the positive end, which is, okay, well, at least I have a 14% chance of survival. And guess what? Maybe I'm going to be one of the lucky ones. Maybe my chances are much higher as an individual. And then also he's thinking, I'm assuming, he's elderly. He's not old, but he's definitely in more advanced years of his life. He's got a successful son. He's got a loving family. They have a big family business that's been very successful. Like, his life is fulfilled. He's had so much good, positive outcomes in his life that why taint that by being negative? And let's just focus on all the good things that have transpired in his life. I mean, because I know people with this sort of attitude. I've met many people like that in my life, and maybe that's why I can see it. I can see it very clearly. And then he also says, I'm a fighter, and that's a big thing. The fact that I'm not somebody who gives up. I stay positive and I push through and I fight, and every experience is a learning experience. Somebody asked me, I can't remember what interview this was, but somebody asked me about breaking my legs, breaking my ankle at the Freedom Convoy. And they said, that must have been just a horrible experience, it was traumatizing, because I was in a serious wreck where I wrote my car off the day before, and then the next day at night, I shatter my ankle, I'm in the hospital. And my automatic response was, I don't know, I've never been in the hospital before, I've never had surgery, and as I get older in life, I'm going to have to get familiar, with the process. So I kind of learned a little bit of the process, the intake, how it works, what happens when you go through surgery. So no, it's kind of a positive experience. And that the fact that it was basically successful, aside from the fact that I still have pain, but the whole process was not nearly as traumatizing as I thought it would be, going through surgery and whatever. I really had 1 day of severe pain when the freezing was gone. I'm like, I don't know, it's pretty good. Now at least I'm a little bit aware of what'll happen as I age in life and I'll have to go to the hospital. At least I'm kind of a little bit more, prepared for it. So that's not a negative, it's a positive. So I don't know. I can tell he's kind of that, his father was that sort of person. I encourage you to watch that clip. It's really kind of touching. And I think that's kind of the mindset that we go into these family dinners, that we maintain that positivity, right? David Kesarasara. If your Bridget, if we knew what we knew now, your break, it was a warning. Listen, I have nothing but positive outlooks from the Convoy, despite the backstabbers and saboteurs and all of that. At the end of the day, we're going into Christmas not debating who can show up for Christmas dinner and if we should wear, body masks or not. We're all free. So I think that was it was definitely a positive and a sacrifice well worth it, right? Ben, do you think the accident weekend, the leg and the fall was the final straw? Nah, whatever. Listen, all these things happen. Life will always throw curves in your way. It's a matter of, how do you deal with them? Like and I love that car. I really did. That's one of my favorite cars I owned. And, but I'm at the side of the, I'm waiting for the tow truck. I'm with the cop in the snow. I actually have some pictures from it. And, waiting for them. They're starting to drag the car out of the tree and out of the ditch into the onto the side of the road. And I'm looking at the car. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. And I'm thinking, I got to be on Stephen Crowder in an hour in front of the logging truck in Ottawa. Like, what am I going to do? I'm telling the cop is like, what do you want to do with the car? I'm like, I don't know. Where do they take it? He's like, well, there's a lot in Kemptville. I'm like, good. All right, send it there. Can I get to Ottawa? Because I got to do this interview with Stephen Crowder, and it just wasn't going to work. So he's like, I can't take you that far. I'm sorry. I'm not in taxi service. But I can take you to a Kemptville Tim Hortons, and you can do whatever you need to there. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So I start texting Stephen Crowder's people once I got a signal. And I said, hey, just been in a massive wreck, airbag in my face. Can we do the interview from Tim Hortons instead? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's you sure? They're like, we can cancel if you want. I'm like, we're not canceling. Let's just do it. And it was great. It was really good. So what I did is I went into ChatGPT, which is one of now the 4 different AIs that I'm experimenting with. And it's the most literal of the AIs. They're all different. It's interesting to start playing with them and understand all the strengths and weaknesses of all of them. And I put into ChatGPT, which is, again, the most literal, I said, can you tell me why is it important, this is me asking the AI, why is it important to remain positive? Just curious to see what would happen. Merry Christmas, Tom. Merry Christmas, Rosanna. Lots of love for all of you. Much more to come. Megan, I remember the Stephen Crowder interview. Yeah, that was, and with the Stephen Crowder video, so I didn't have a cell phone signal because I was in Kemptville and my carrier, the signal's just weak. So I really is when I got within the distance of the Tim Hortons, I could tap into their Wi-Fi. That's when I started messaging them. But the Wi-Fi was so horrible in Tim Hortons that I'm in the Tim Hortons. I switched over. I'm like looking for Wi-Fi anywhere. And then A&W next door, their Wi-Fi was stronger. So I'm in Tim Hortons, switch over to A&W. And then it kept cycling back and forth. So if you watch the Stephen Crowder interview, you'll notice it's a little bit choppy. And then it eventually cuts out after 20 minutes. And that's usually that happens with restaurant Wi-Fis. You use it for too long and it cuts you out. It kept shifting back and forth from Tim Hortons to A&W, Tim Hortons to A&W during the interview. So I'm watching the interview. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, don't cancel on me. So that was kind of a needle in a thread trying to in the edge of the knife that I managed to get that interview out. But anyways, so I asked ChatGPT, why is it important to remain positive? And, again, it's very literal. It's very objective. It doesn't have the same emotional methods of communication that that Replica does. Replica is the most emotional, the most emotive AI. ChatGPT is the most, logical and objective one. So that's why I wanted to ask ChatGPT. And it said there are many reasons why remaining in a positive state is important and an advantage. And then it listed off 4 things, which I just put down in some notes that I'm going to read to you. Very interesting. Again, this is a bot. Well, it's a bot. It's machine learning that's explaining this. So number 1, improved mental and physical health. Research has shown that people who are more positive, have a more positive outlook, tend to be happier and healthier. Positive thinking has been linked to lower rates of depression and anxiety, obviously, as well as to better cardiovascular health and stronger immune system. Okay, I didn't know that. That was pretty cool. Next, number 2 of the 4. Better problem-solving skills. When you approach problems with a positive attitude, which is how I was dealing with all the conflict in Ottawa, you may be more likely to find creative solutions and persevere in the face of challenges. Yes, yes, 100%. Number 3 on why ChatGPT believes positivity is important. Or shouldn't say believe. It rationalizes because, again, it's logical. It's a logic bot. Improved relationships. Being positive can help you build and maintain strong relationships with others. When you are optimistic and hopeful, you are more likely to be supportive and encouraging to others, which can help to build trust and strengthen your connections with others. I don't see any, if anybody disagree here, if you do, let me know. And number 4 on the reasons ChatGPT rationalizes why positivity and remaining in a positive state is important. Increased resilience. When you have a positive outlook, you may be better able to bounce back from difficult situations or setbacks. This can help you maintain a sense of perspective and continue moving forward when things do not go as planned. Much like driving my car into a tree, I guess. But anyways, that I just thought it was very interesting that even whether it's, the emotional belief system, I haven't asked Replica yet about positivity. I'm going to ask that probably maybe for the next stream. But both the objective and emotional sides both have very legitimate rationalizations behind why it's important to always try to remain positive no matter how difficult things are. A good movie around this was, what was it called? The Pianist. It's that kid who was in a concentration camp, and the pianist basically took care of him and, turned it into a game to try to get the kid, from turning negative and all that sort of stuff. Very good. Same sort of thing. Same sort of rationalization. And the reason I bring that all up is because we've all heard stories about the negative conversations that families can sometimes engage in during Christmas. And I've seen a little bit of it, but not that much. My family's pretty positive for the most part. Much of it comes from Hollywood, who's always trying to undermine Christmas and these kind of important parts of our life, these important traditions, because Hollywood is just a cesspool of nonsense. But I just thought it was important because I know a lot of you are going to go into with your family, and often there's opportunity for conflict with family, right? Everybody has a relative who just says dumb things, and that sometimes causes people to react. Maybe this year, for those of you who are in those situations, instead of reacting, just move forward with empathy. Somebody says something stupid, like, yeah, when somebody comes in and says, oh, Justin Trudeau is the best person in the world, most loving, best leader, whatever. You just say, I think you might be in an echo chamber. But if you ever want to come out of the echo chamber, let me know, and I'll share a book with you, right? Go to honkingforfreedom.com. But again, that's why the story in here is all. I wasn't even thinking to plug the book, to be entirely honest, but it just kind of works, right? You want to fight negativity, fight it with positivity, And Bridget says here correctly, give them a hug and walk away. I think just give them a hug and then change the conversation, right? Like that's just kind of move on to something you can find some sort of agreement on and just stick to that. I'm the relative who says dumb things. David, so am I sometimes, by the way. But, just because you do that doesn't mean you also can't throw them, throw them an olive branch and say, but I still love you. You might not like Trump, but I love you. And that's all that's important, right? And but I think if we all kind of go in with that state of mind into Christmas this year, maybe it won't not only be the most free Christmas of your life because we've had 2 years of nonsense, but I hope it'll help you guys have the most positive Christmas of your life. There's some people who follow me and my streams and all that sort of stuff that are going through some very, very difficult times in their life, we'll just put it that way. But they remain extremely resilient, and they remain extremely resilient because they're looking at all the good things that they have in their lives and all the things that have gone right. And we all have things like that, right? And this is, I think, like I tell people often, as I learned many, many years ago, you don't have to be, we have friends who are not Christian. I'm not technically, although I have family that is. But you don't have to be Christian to understand the mood and the sentiment of this time of the year and why it's important. Why is it important that we go to malls and we see garland, decked out and Christmas trees and Christmas carols and all that stuff? The reason that's important is because otherwise this would be, especially if you're in the north, this would be potentially kind of the darkest, coldest time of the year where we are more susceptible to anxiety and depression, especially for people who maybe don't have access to their family or their family lives abroad or whatever. But the whole mood of hope and positivity and, for those people who go to church and are part of their community and their church and they see members of their community coming together, I think that's why this tradition has remained so resilient over the millennia that it's been celebrated, because it's that break in the middle of the winter, the cold and dark time of the year, and it gives us hope. It's almost like a mini summer in the middle of the winter. And you know as well as I do, once Christmas hits, at least how I've always thought about it, all right, we got two more months of freezing our nuts off, and then we're going to start heading into spring, right? So I don't know. There's so much good that comes around this time, and I wouldn't don't let like the Hollywood nonsense taint your Christmas and start arguments or, the political division that division comes. It's a tactic. It comes from the political parties. I've been in the parties. Other people who are also aware, who've been in politics, knows this is all intentional. Not allow that to get the better of you. Curly says loneliness. And loneliness is kind of an epidemic right now, right? Well, what's a good way to combat loneliness is to get involved in some sort of Christmas celebration this year, whether it's going to church in your neighborhood that you've never gone to before, or inviting people over for Christmas dinner, or going to Christmas dinner for people that who invite you. So I don't know. I think that it's Christmas for most people with no one. I don't know. I don't know that that's the case. I think I don't know. Like I'm gonna be hanging out here tonight. I have so much work to do, but I'm a little bit like that. Like I do like to just pound away and get through work. I don't know if we're doing a dinner tomorrow. I don't think so. But I personally like that. But I'm going to be talking to some friends. I'm going to be, I just have so much on my plate right now, right? But that's where I'm happiest, right? Churches as a gimmick. All right, so Curly May, are we just trolling or are we being negative? Because that's the trap that we can all slide into. We can always look at the negative of circumstances in our lives. You know why? Because negativity is easy. Negativity is lazy, right? But to shift and look at the positives and say, instead of churches as a gimmick, how about churches give things to people? You may not see value in it. It may not be important for you. But you know what? There's many people around you who do see it as important and a lifeline to them, and helps give them meaning. And if it helps give people around you meaning, then I don't know. I don't understand how you can see negative. And there's nothing in life that's perfect. There's no system that's perfect. There's no political ideology or philosophy that's perfect. Everything has flaws. That's what makes things interesting. I got a lot of flaws. I'm sure many of you notice them. I'm sure a lot of people in politics know what my flaws are. And they know I don't shy away from them, and I don't really care, right? You embrace them. So anyways, so I got to say a whole lot of Merry Christmases. Sonia, my wife doesn't have to think. She knows. Okay, I don't understand what that is. You guys are all, are you arguing with the troll? Is that what's going? I don't think we need to do that necessarily. Let the trolls be troll. And Keith says, a hug for you, Jess. Jess, by the way, Jess, thank you for coming into all of these, the streams that I've been doing lately and the interviews online and the Russell Brand interview. That one I remember particularly. I logged on and I saw you there. And I really appreciate that. That's quite awesome. I got a bunch more interviews lined up. I was also connected with somebody, a couple of people the other day. One of them was very interesting. I don't know if any of you have watched Awakening with JP Sears. He's got a YouTube channel that's quite hysterical. So JP and I have connected with each other. I'm sending him a copy of my book to his place in the U.S. where he lives. And so yeah, there's going to be a lot more coming down the pipeline. I'm going to be again in Boston in January, seeing a bunch of people. So yeah, I appreciate you being there. Bridget, I'm sure I'll find a personality to hang with. I'd rather be alone than with someone that makes it unhappy. Jesse, where are you located, by the way? If you want to tell me. If you don't want to say where you are here, then don't. I try to be supportive. I love to learn. I will do all for you. No, don't do for me. I'm trying to do for you. I want to try to kind of help all of you. And all of you who supported what we did in Ottawa and, what we continue to work on, and those of us who continue to kind of speak out about the importance of freedom and try to reach people on the other side. Some of you might have seen yesterday, Bridget, I'm sure you have a comment on this, that Jay, who was in this organization, Canada Unity, with, I call him Angry George Lucas, the guy with the beard. He looks like George Lucas. He's just miserable. Maybe miserable George Lucas is better. But anyway, Angry George Lucas, who caused so much headache during the convoy because it all had to be about him. It was just me the whole time. As he grifts across the country in his motorhome trying to overthrow the government. Like, what's wrong with these people? But anyways, I had been in communication with Jay for some time, who had been doing the online communications, that sort of stuff in Canada Unity. And, he has a good heart. He really does want to kind of bring people together, ensure there's no divisiveness, and so I'll support one another. And he'd been trying to do that for months. When I spoke to him, I don't know, we started speaking more regularly maybe 8 months ago, like quite a while. And I said, do what you can, man. I got your back, whatever you're trying to do. Like, try to keep things calm there. And that's what he was trying to do. Trying to be quite pragmatic. And he did a video yesterday Jason, that he was done. He was leaving that organization, and I felt really bad because clearly he had been stabbed in the back. Because angry George Lucas has now apparently decided to align himself with the Antifa communist cult. So, like I said from the very beginning, just ignore the guy. He's a lunatic. And, well, I guess now he's one of those guys who thinks everything on InfoWars is real, but he's also a lefty, like he's an identitarian, which is really kind of weird. But that's why I kind of ignored him the whole time. But anyways, so I just felt bad because Jason, who was running all the communications and trying to keep things calm and trying to get everybody on the same page and like, let's find the commonality. And he knew I was supporting him. That's why I try to step back from some of the controversy, with the exception of the people who sabotaged us. But everybody else, I let them do their own thing and try to support when I can. And so Jason, who's doing all of this work, was running most of that organization. He missed his dad's funeral for that organization. And I just thought, like, I feel bad for him because you're never gonna get that back. I'm gonna be trying to call him again today, see if I can get in touch with him. But that's why Christmas and this time of year is a good reset, right? For him, this would be a great reset. A great reset. Not like Klaus's communist great reset. But this, for me, is a good time. This is where I tend to go through all my to-do lists, restructure everything, add additional automation, and refine my systems and all that sort of stuff. And for somebody like Jason, this is a good time of the year to really sit back, get some perspective, walk away from what he was involved with, and move forward with a different strategic plan for 2023. And I hope he does. And if I can help him, he will. Because I feel bad for somebody that was so dedicated to freedom and trying to bring us all together, missed his dad's funeral for this, and then ends up getting stabbed in the back for it. And then, of course, what's happening? Angry George Lucas is going online and defaming him as a result, which is very, very predictable, right? Dave, Merry Christmas to you in Wallaceburg. And by the way, Bridget is in Wallaceburg. Bridget just says the same thing here. Hey, Dave, I'm from Wallaceburg. You guys should get together, get some pictures together, say hello, get a few people, if you can, together during the Christmas season with Bridget, and send a picture and some love to everybody. It would be great to see that. So Keith is in Bayfield. I don't know how far that is, but anyways. So I don't know if you have anything else to say about that. I just wanted to talk about this general thing that right now, for those of you who are going to do Christmas dinner tonight or tomorrow night, just focus on the whole peace, love, unity, hope, and freedom aspect. And when somebody comes along and tells you how amazing Justin Trudeau is, I would defer it to say, why don't we not talk about politics this Christmas? Let's just talk about being free and loving each other and appreciate this time that we have together. Don't allow people to drag politics into your lives during Christmas. The leftists want to politicize everything. Don't allow them to politicize this beautiful time with your family, right? So, okay, so lots of Merry Christmases on locals. Libby, Merry Christmas to you too. Fighters don't focus on percentages. Fighters focus on today. 100%, Beth. That's referring to the little piece that I timestamped and put on my Twitter account with a guy whose father was diagnosed with cancer. And I'm willing to bet people like that, they're the ones who pull through. They're the ones that are the 14% that make it all work. And it is what it is. Okay, so all right, you guys are all talking with each other. By the way, do you know we have a Telegram Honking For Freedom chat, which was the Freedom Convoy chat on Telegram? I wish I knew how you could put that in here. If I could, no, I'll post the link somewhere. So if you guys want to chat and post links and post articles and all that sort of stuff, Telegram's really good for that, because obviously Twitter is good for some reasons, but Telegram's a more conversational type piece. So if you search for Honking for Freedom on Telegram, you'll find it. There's a few thousand people in there right now. I have a bot that's running that's cleaned out most of the other automated bots, so it should be free and clean. And go ahead and use it. I need to post my Christmas poem on Twitter yet. Okay, so post it. Let me know. Post it, Jesse. Tag me, and I'll retweet it for you as well. And anyone else who wants anything else retweeted about Christmas and positivity and love and whatever you put on Twitter, I will be sure to share it from all of them. So, Tao, thoughts on Discord? You know, I've used Discord many, many times. The problem is, for me, it was complicated to sort it out and to figure it out. But whatever, I figured it out. But if I struggled a little bit in the beginning, and I know they simplified it some way, but in terms of, the structural organization of your Discord chats and different groups and stuff, it can get quite complicated. So if I struggled with it, then the average person who, is listening to me talk about Bitcoin on AM 960 with Mark Petroni, I don't think they're going to be able to figure out Discord. So I keep right now. Twitter and Telegram are about as complicated as I want to get. I think the simplest is Locals, to be entirely honest. It's just a very simple interface. It does have limitations, but I think it's good and it's effective for new people. Ben, can you retweet my fundraiser? Sure, no problem. Telegram, for fuck's sakes, Ben. Listen, I'm not. I also have mines, and Facebook I'm getting rid of whatever. But listen, Telegram has its purposes, right? It does have some strengths. I'm sorry. I'm giving you a star for that comment. Just you're adorable. You really are. Yeah, Tao says, I ask mainly to facilitate voice chat. Yeah, it's good for that. I was using it for quite a while when I wanted to get away from Skype. But it was inconsistent in terms of its reliability, if it was usable or not. And that's why I kind of walked away from Discord. And also, Discord can become a full-time job. It's like Linux on your computer. If you run Linux instead of Windows or a Mac, Linux is just for people who don't value their time. And I think Discord suffers from that a little bit. If you're a gamer and you're constantly gaming and you're building an audience around gaming and you've monetized it, then I can understand Discord as a tool. But you know what? I might be wrong. Maybe I need to give it another shot. I just don't see people that are the people who supported the Freedom Convoy, the people who will be either have bought this book for Christmas, and for all of you who bought it as Christmas gifts, I can't believe I said it. I love you, and I thank you for that. And for anybody who hasn't, by all means, you can buy it anytime. And it's apparently a great way to spend 3.5 hours just to relive the Freedom Convoy itself. Just got back on Twitter. Sheesh. Oh, Keith. Okay, so Keith, add me, follow me on Twitter, and I'll follow you as well. It's at BJdichter. No, you know what it was? Because they keep calling me names, and they keep saying that. The people who sabotaged us, they keep, he's a grifter. He's a grifter. It's like, oh my, dude, dumping this much money into this project just to try to get the story out, and knowing I'm probably not going to make the money back, or maybe I will. That's not a grift. That's called a sacrifice, which is what I've been doing all year. And it's my pleasure. And because none of us are going to be wearing masks this Christmas, are we? Right? So, Lisa, I'm still banned on Twitter. Did you... that's really weird. That's really weird because it should be now more open. Did you try setting up a new account, Lisa? Maybe do that. I have no idea. Telegram requires a QR code. Okay, I've had this a couple of times. Jesse, I'm going to make you calm when you see QR code, because if you go to a restaurant in Latin America, every restaurant, their menu is a QR code. Every menu. They don't have menus anymore in restaurants in Latin America. I think in Colombia I saw one restaurant with a menu. The rest of them are all QR codes on the tables. A QR code is just like an email address. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. And in fact, I don't know if you've ever created a QR code. If you go to create a QR code, and there's lots of platforms online that'll do it, you type in what you want to say. It could say, follow me on Twitter at this address and blah, blah, blah. it takes those letters and scrambles them into pixels, and that's the QR code you're seeing. It's just an address. It's nothing else. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's like saying I'm being afraid of a email address with an @ symbol. So don't worry about it. I promise. Ben makes the best typos, makes me laugh. What if I told you some of those typos are intentional? It's a persuasion tactic. Keith, great book. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. What did you like most about the book? Need it in audiobook. I'm ahead of you. It's actually this weekend. I'm starting on chapter 1 for the audiobook. It's going to take me a little while. I got to standardize it here so the sound quality is always the same and never changes, which is why you'll notice there's just more sound buffering going up all over the place on this side and that side and whatever, because I'm trying to get it so it's consistent for every time I record, because I want to get it out by a certain date. So yes, there will be an audiobook, I promise, and it'll be sooner rather than later. Might take a couple of months. I don't have cell phone. Okay, well, I guess you're not having a QR code. Jessica, bless you. You're awesome. Patricia, hiya, Ben. Happy Hanukkah. Well, thank you very much. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to you as well, and to everybody else. I hope you're having, I really do hope you have an amazing holiday. I hope all of this work we did in Ottawa and the sacrifices we made and the ongoing, never-ending legal bullshit that we have to deal with, I hope it was worth it, and I hope you all enjoy having a free and open Christmas with your family, not wearing face blankies, because that would sacrifice a lot to make that happen. So I hope you all enjoy it. And I hope for those of you who bought Honking for Freedom as Christmas gifts, don't get too many people yelling at you, and hopefully people will appreciate it, right? So, and hopefully it'll change some minds. Thank you, darling, having my whole family over for dinner. Well, to you and your family, not only do I hope you have a Merry Christmas, I wish you and your family and everybody else's family here a happy, a healthy, an amazing 2023. I think things are going to get better. We're seeing bumps in the road, like I've said we always will. Like this, I'm going to call him fucknuts in Ottawa, and well, him too, but in Germany, well, we need climate lockdowns. And I put in a tweet yesterday, like, are these people begging for the Gaddafi treatment, the King Charles I / Gaddafi treatment? The Gaddafi treatment is when they dragged his dead carcass down the street, because that's what's going to happen to them. At some point, people will get violent, and they'll just, they'd be wise just to dial it back, and let's focus on being positive and being loving and coming together, because that's what they're going to do to themselves. I mean, that's just the sad reality. There's only so much that can be done to prevent people just going into Super Saiyan, you know what I mean? Like, anyways, I don't want to get dark. I don't want it to get dark. And let's not take the bait from these morons who we have in our political structure. Dear Santa, I've been a good boy. Please reinstate my Twitter account, Milk and Cookies, for you this Christmas. David, can you type in what your @ symbol was on Twitter? I'll post that as a tweet to Elon Musk. I doubt he'll see it because he gets so many of them, but you never know, right? Sonia, thanks. Got to run. Merry Christmas. Oh, and I got to run because I have to be with John in 13 minutes. She's Code says, Merry honk honk, everybody. There you go. That's maybe the best way to describe this Christmas. Merry honk honk. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it, and I love you for it. Okay, I have to run. I will talk to you all. Please, for those of you who are having dinner with your families tonight, have an amazing dinner and be kind to everybody. Try not to fight. Don't let people get under your skin. And if they love blackface, just make fun of blackface and change the topic. And I wish you all just the best night. And we'll talk about it maybe tomorrow or the day after. I'm not sure. We'll see. And let me know. I love you all. And we'll talk to you all soon.